Hey guys, Ben here. Ever since the Warcry Underworlds announcement, I've been really jazzing to get some Warcry on the go, and I've had this box of sealed goodies for a little while now, so I thought, why not give them a bit of a build to Battlefield. Okay, so we've got our box of Cypher Lords. Let's open it up and see what happens. It's an interesting box. Quite a few guys in the kind of skirmish team. You get like one hero, you get a bunch of like infantry dudes. I quite like the style of them. They've got fancy hats. They've got that Zinch theme. I'm glad I'm using my knife for this because I'm making an absolute hash of opening this box. Oh, come on, Games Workshop. What are you doing to me? All right, so we've got not the best way to open a product. I'll give you that. What on earth is going on? What is in this box? This is not Warcry. This looks like a rat ogre. What is going on? Okay, so it looks like Games Workshop have messed up the packing of a product again, and we've actually got a Blood Bowl ogre, a Blood Bowl rat ogre. So I think we're going to need to change this video into something else. I've got just the thing. That's right, we're back with Monster Monday. Okay, it's not really back. I mean, originally it was hashtag Minotaur Monday, but I want to do more monsters than just Minotaurs. I know, surprising, but actually there's trolls out there, there's rat ogres out there that deserve a good build and review. Anyway, today we are going to be looking at the Forge World Rat Ogre model, not the Yeti that was sent out to several people instead, which is a bit of a shame. I'd quite like to get my hands on that Yeti model. However, as far as Blood Bowl models go, the Rat Ogre is a very cool model, and we've got one. So let's have a look. Okay, so we've got our Rat Ogre model here. We've got the instructions that do come with the Forge World version. And as far as it goes, oh, there's only 7 pieces here. Now, it's quite interesting. They've actually put some instructions here to remove a highlighted shim. So as you can see on this product, and we'll use this as a good point to move over to looking at the actual castings, you can see that the way they've had to cast the rat tail, there's actually an internal piece to it. Now, I mean, you are supposed to remove this, so I'll tell you what, let's have a little go and see how difficult it is as we're looking at this, because I've not seen them do it before. Okay, so it's actually really thin resin, and you should be able to just kind of break it through carefully with a knife or something like that. I'm not going to do that on video because it's a rat tail and I'm going to break it, and I don't want you guys to see that because this is a family-friendly channel, and breaking rat tails tends to invoke some words that Nuffle appreciates, but children may not. Anyway, we've got 9 pieces in this model. Now, this is a resin model from Games Workshop, so actually the casting quality is really good. Now, they produce them on these massive parking plinths. Okay, this is the kind of stuff that you use and you see outside of retail areas to stop people from driving through windows. Very similar. Games Workshop actually produce them for most local councils. But when they're not doing that, they actually use them to put them on the bottom of the models. Now, there are some models where you can actually use them as a painting plinth. This is not one of those because it needs a jolly good building. But actually, I have seen that done a couple of times where you can use these plinths to put things on and paint them and build them up, and it's quite a clever way to do it. Anyway, not the way to do with the Rat Ogre, but because of the way they use these jersey barriers, the mold lines and the casting lines are actually really good. Now, Games Workshop, except for that one there, haha. So Games Workshop had a bit of a ropey time with resin when they first moved into resin. They had fine cast, which was colloquially known as fail cast because it was such a bad execution. But nowadays, as you can see, their sculpts and their casts are actually pretty excellent. Now, we can see all the little details on this dude's face, and you can see how crisp the chainmail has been cast. And I'm not sure what that little tiny bit is. There's always a little tiny bit, isn't there? That little tiny bit, yeah, of course it is. It looks like it's his jaw. At least it's not his thumb, eh? I'll tell you what, let's build him. And there we have it. We have one built Forge World Rat Ogre. So a couple of things to mention. This is Forge World resin, and it's the same as every other resin. And I am a raging cowboy when it comes to building and executing most hobby things. But resin stuff does need a wash. Now, it doesn't take a huge amount of effort, but it is not the quickest. It definitely adds a little bit of time. What I like to do is get a little basin with warm water, not boiling. Do not boil water. Boiling water with resin, it creates a lovely stew, but I wouldn't recommend wasting your models on something you cannot eat. Bit of warm water, a dash of soap, leave it to soak for a bit, get a big brush, like a big dry brush, use that to kind of clean it off in the water. It cleans your brush up and it tends to keep the model in a really good space. If you don't do that, you may struggle gluing it together, and you will definitely struggle priming it. So big one to mention. And then I guess the other really important thing, this model comes with a 40mm base, so I am a big fan of my big guys having big guy bases. So 40mm, okay, so it is a really decently sized model, and it actually, Games Workshop have put it on a proper big guy base. Now everything else fits on a 32, but you know what else fits on a 32? Goblins. Is this a goblin? No, so it deserves a proper big boy base. So let's have a look at the finished model. So I have yet to finish off kind of some of the flash detailing, so taking out that bit in the middle of the tail, taking this random bit of mold line there off the top. Otherwise, with a bit of scraping, the model went together really easily. I didn't do a huge amount of prep, but where you've got your contact points for resin, definitely want to kind of score it a little bit just to help with adhesion. Now, when it comes to resin, I always use super glue. And this is it. I tend to use super glue for everything, even plastic models. So it works out really nicely. But I mean, the Games Workshop sculpt is great. There's a couple of little lines, but honestly, nothing you're going to notice. If you are a pro painter, there's a little bit of work. But as far as a lot of resin models go, especially a lot of Forge World stuff, this is really quite good. It fit together nicely. You've got to watch out for the tail. We assumed we would have to watch out for the tail, but there is a little tab that tucks it in place, which I thought was really good. The sad thing is there's kind of a bit of flash in there, so you have to clear it out with a knife. So, you know, one to watch out, but the model goes together lovely. Should we look at sizing? Okay, so this is a strength 5 model, so let's grab a strength 3 model there to go next to it. Plenty big enough. And let's put it on the pitch test. I should probably get a new one of these made up with a pitch. I should get a new one of those made up with pitch lines on it. That's an excellent idea. Anyway, look at this. This guy has clearly got strength 5 mass. He massively outdoes this 32mm scale human who's strength 3. Let's bring on a strength 4 player here as well. So, one of the Black Mountain Buccaneers. Strength 4 Black Orc versus strength 5 Rat Ogre. You can see that the Roger has tons of presence. This is exactly what we want in our big guy models. And actually, if you look at let's do the cylinder test. If you look at the bottom of the base, not a huge amount of the model goes outside of it. Probably better to do that top down, Ben. There you go. His fist's there, but his fist is tall, so actually he lines up against models, and there's not a lot of contact point between the model and another model, so it doesn't stretch outside the base except for the fist, so you should be able to maneuver on the pitch quite nicely. The downside of a 40mm base is it's slightly bigger than the square itself, so it will kind of man spread, rat ogre spread outside of its square, but one dude, no problem. And actually the tail does a really good job of staying within that kind of cylinder. We've got a strength 5 ogre here from the Dungeon Bowl kit, which is now my go-to strength 5 size comparison piece. 32mm base, ogre. Are you a goblin? Don't know. Anyway, lining them up, you can see the Rat Ogre is a little bit taller, which is quite nice. And mass-wise, the Rat Ogre has it over the Ogre as well. Now, we've had a couple of Forge World models that are a bit on the small side. Skrull and Frankenstein were, I don't know, half a click too small. Rat Ogre is of an appropriate big guy size. I like my big guys to be big guys, and I like my big guys to be on big guy bases. So this guy works beautifully for me. Decent size, lines up nicely against an ogre. If you've got them on a pitch, you will know that they are big guys and everybody else is not. There's one more model I want to compare it to, so let's reach over and grab that. And this is the Rat Ogre model that I use for my Skaven team. Oh, I might have to update it now. So this is from Punga, this is from their Patreon, and I have 3D printed this at 100% scale. This is the Games Workshop Rat Ogre. As you can see, size-wise, the Punga one has a bit of an advantage. Height goes to Games Workshop, chunk goes to Punga. Actually, I've probably oversized my big guy model You know what I'm like. I like my big guys to be quite big, so actually you could tone this one down, but there's not a lot in it. And I'm really pleased to say that this Games Workshop model is very, very good. Now, I love Underworld, and I'm a huge Skaven player, as you know. So the fact that we've got essentially the Rat Ogre model that we deserve, I'm a very, very happy Ben. And there you have it. So that is the Forge World Rat Ogre, and I've got to say, it's a really good model. I'm impressed with it. I'm sad it's not a Yeti, obviously, but you know, these things happen. The model is good to go. If you're a Skaven coach, if you're in the market for a Rat Ogre, if you're Underworld, you've got to be running the Rat Ogre anyway. It is a solid choice for a model. Actually, this is one of the times where you can say going Games Workshop is actually quite a smart idea. There's great Rat Ogre models out there, and now we've got one more. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think of the Rat Ogre. Let me know what you think of the Warcry video. And let me know what you think of Games Workshop's packaging process. I couldn't resist. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to help support the channel even further, please like and subscribe, or come join us on our Patreon. We have early access to content, we get loads of feedback from you guys, and we try and do competitions as much as we can. Or you can get yourself some Bonehead podcast merch on our Spreadshirt site. So if you want to support a team, especially for the Bonehead Championship, you can pick up a shirt, a mug, things like that. It all helps support the channel, and we really appreciate it. Anyway, links below. Thank you very much. Happy blocking.